All right. Well, hello. My name is Catherine Gonzalez. I'm a graduate student in the BMS program here at Marian University. And today I'm going to be interviewing Stacy Riddle about her experience with type 1 diabetes as part of our patient podcast project. Before we begin, I just want to tell you a little bit about what this project is. This podcast is part of our class project for my medical physiology and pharmacology course. The goal is to explore real patient experiences and understand what living with a chronic condition is like from the patient's point of view. It's less about the medical details and a little more about what your story is, how your diagnosis, your treatment, and your day-to-day life has shaped who you are today. Your perspective will help me learn how to better communicate with and care for my future patients. Thank you again for joining me today. And before we start, I just want you to introduce yourself, tell me how old you are, and what you do.
Yes, I am Stacy Riddle. I am 41 years old. And I'm in insurance sales. I sell life insurance for a living for the most part.
Awesome. Okay. So diving into your, um, obviously you have type 1 diabetes. When were you first diagnosed with type 1 diabetes?
Yeah, I was in sixth grade. I was 12, like I turned 12 in October and I was diagnosed in May that following year. So I was about 12 and a half.
Okay, so obviously you lived, um, obviously since you were born until 12 without knowing you had diabetes. So I'm
Right?
sure a lot changed within, I mean, you were starting to become a teenager, a lot changed within that time. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, okay, let's dive into a little bit about why you were even diagnosed. So, were you presenting any symptoms or what signs led you to seek care?
Yeah. So the first thing that we noticed or that I noticed or my mom noticed really was just I had to pee a lot. I was going to the bathroom a lot. And I had just started losing weight. I wasn't, I was a pretty small figured, sixth grade girl anyway. I was probably like, I don't know, 85 pounds, at the time, and ended up losing about 20 pounds in about, I would say, a span of a month. Um, and I mean, it came on very quick for me. It hit very quick. So yeah, my mom, noticed that I was excessively thirsty, the typical symptoms. So,
Right.
um, my mom didn't know, obviously. She took me to the doctor and she had been looking up symptoms, and said to the doctor, "Do you think it could be type 1 diabetes?" And unfortunately, he said, "Well, no, because diabetes doesn't run in your family." So, um, she was like, "Okay," because we didn't know much about it. So she actually, when I would go to the bathroom all the time, she said, which I didn't find this out till later, she was listening at the door of the bathroom to see if I was like bulimic, or she was
Right.
watching me eat to see if I was anorexic, all the things. I was extremely, extremely tired as well. So, she continued to, once they told us, well, we don't think it's diabetes, I ended up having a CAT scan. I had all kinds of stuff done. And finally, one of the last things they did was test my urine, which is crazy, but they did that. And yeah, we were about ready to leave the doctor's office and they came running out to the doctor's office and said, "Oh my gosh, there's sugar in her urine." And they sent us right up to a pediatric endo, yeah, endocrinologist about 30 minutes away from our house. And yeah,
Wow.
so it was probably like a good month or so span that those symptoms started. And it just went so fast, like I went down very quickly. So
I think it's just crazy to me that that was like their last thing was to test your
I know.
urine. I feel like that's one of the first things, like just working in the ER, the first thing
Absolutely.
you do is just test somebody's urine, and
Absolutely.
do blood work. So that's just, I don't know, it just
It
sounds
was
crazy to me.
it was absolutely crazy. And that's what my mom said too. And I don't know, he was an older doctor, like he'd been around for a long, long time. He was kind of on his way out.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not, but he just, I don't know why. Obviously, he didn't work with pediatric diabetics, I guess, or didn't
Yeah.
know about it. I have no idea, but yeah.
Okay.
Mom was, yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
All right. So obviously, you said you were 12 years old, so you're starting to become a young woman.
Yes.
Lots of hormones going on during this time,
hmm
emotionally, mentally, and physically. How did you feel during this time?
I so it was kind of weird when I was before I was diagnosed. So during that time, I was very disoriented. I told my mom I got up during in the middle of one of my classes one time, and just right in the middle of class, that was so unlike me. I'm sitting there. I got up and just walked out of the classroom, and I remember going down to the bathroom and standing in the bathroom and being like, did I just walk out of my classroom and not even ask? Did I just get up and walk out of there? What the heck? So I remember telling my mom that, and she was like, that's not a silly haha thing to blow off. Let's, you know,
Right.
that's strange of you. So then, yeah, I also remember being so tired. Like getting up in the morning to get ready for school, and I would be in the shower and I would sit and cry because I was so incredibly tired. I just wanted to sleep. I would get home from school and I would immediately want to go to sleep immediately. Um, so yeah, I mean, it was crazy, and that's the thing too. I was in sixth grade. I hadn't started my period yet, so it's like, is there a lot of it is the hormone things? Is it something like that? Is it we weren't
Right.
obviously weren't really sure. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it was crazy, and once I was diagnosed, obviously, I had this huge like I don't know red flag it felt like on me that said, oh, you're different, you're different than everybody else,
Yeah. Made
especially at
you
that
probably
time.
feel like I don't know, like you were just so different than everybody, and
Yeah.
everybody was going to think you were weird
Yep.
because, you had to go to the nurse or,
Yep.
things like that.
Exactly. Absolutely. It was very, very strange. Yeah, it was a weird time.
Just being in middle school is hard enough, and then adding this to you, I'm sure just really topped it
Mm-hmm.
off.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. um
Okay.
I kind of, once I was in eighth, so sixth grade, towards the end of the year, into the school year, I had been diagnosed. And then after that, seventh grade was okay. I did okay with it. Then eighth grade came along and I was like, forget this. I hate this. I don't even care about taking care of myself. You know, didn't realize obviously how important it was, of course.
Right.
But I didn't want to be different. I didn't want to be different. I was, a cheerleader. I was, not to be like whatever, but I was one of the more popular girls, I guess. So it
Right.
was like, it felt like such a shame for me for some
Yeah.
reason. I don't feel that way now, but yeah.
That's so sad. I
Yeah.
mean, crazy to think that
Yeah. It's hard
you're,
enough. Like you said, it's
yeah.
hard enough to be a girl in middle school anyway. So yeah.
So moving on to like your family, how did they support you throughout your journey, at least when you were first diagnosed?
Yeah, I mean, super supportive, of course. My mom did, everything she could to help me and make sure that I was doing what I needed to do. I took out a lot of my frustration on her, of course. So, yeah, I know it was hard for her. And actually, so when I was the summer after eighth grade, when I had just basically given up on it and didn't care and didn't want to be different, she made me go to a diabetic camp, which I literally told her when she was dropping me off that I hated her for making me go there. Yeah. I was like, I hate you for doing
I
this
had
to
no
me.
idea they even had things like that, but that's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes. Oh, every year yep. Um, yeah, it was for type 1 diabetics, and
Everyone there has diabetes.
yep, every single person there did, except obviously the counselors.
Right.
Um, and yeah, and it was funny because my doctor called her because he knew how distraught my mom was leaving me there. Because I was literally just looking at her, tears rolling down my face, and I was like, I'm so mad at you for leaving me here. I'm so mad at you. And so she felt horrible. But it was the absolute best thing that could have ever happened to me.
Yeah.
It changed my life. I saw that there was other kids just like me and I can do this. So yeah, he called her and was like, hey, I know you're stressing out. because of course we didn't have cell phones or stuff like that then, so it's not like I could text her.
Right.
Um, so he called her and said, I just want you to know that Stacy's like one of our best campers. She's amazing. She's friendly. She's happy. She's helping
Oh,
everyone else. She's fun. She's, really made friends super quick. There's absolutely no issue. She's having a great time. So that made my mom feel
oh,
obviously
I
a million
bet
times
that
better.
just relieved all that stress and
Oh
pressure
my
she
gosh.
had.
For sure. For sure. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was definitely probably the best thing that happened to me is her making me go. So she did the right thing.
Okay, so obviously you're 41 years old now. You've lived with diabetes for, can't do the math in my head, but several years.
20, let me think, 28
Okay.
years, 20, wait, let me think, 12, 22, 32. Yeah, almost 30 years.
Almost 30 years. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. So it's
yeah,
been almost 30 years with you having diabetes.
yep. So more of
Um,
my life than not.
right. Walk me through what a typical day managing your diabetes is like.
So funny thing, on average, diabetics make about, I think it's like between 180 and 250 more decisions every single day than any
Wow.
normal person.
That's crazy.
So yeah, pretty crazy. Yes. So apparently, which I didn't realize this, but yeah, we make hundreds more decisions every day than the average person. Um, you know, wake up, first thing I do is check my blood sugar, of course. Depending on what it is, I either take some insulin or get some juice if it's going low, or just depends on what it is. Um, get up, do my normal routine. I'm lucky I have a Dexcom, so my blood sugar reads to my phone every 5 minutes. So I'm able to look at it and keep a good eye on it in that way,
Literally
which
at
is
all
amazing.
times.
Yeah, yeah, which is amazing. And I went, for years and years. I went for 20 years probably because I didn't have a Dexcom until I was like probably like 32, 33. So I went for, almost 20 years with, well, yeah, 20 years with just, doing the finger stick,
Yeah,
um, which is fine, but it's like, your blood sugar can change so quickly. So if, you're not checking it all the time, then it's just, I mean, yeah, it's so much easier having the Dexcom.
absolutely.
Yeah. But, little things like, for instance, yesterday I had to leave to go pick up my daughter from school. And I noticed, and then I was getting a little bit shaky, and of course I'm already running late, running around trying to do things. And then my phone starts beeping, telling me that my blood sugar is low. And I'm like, ugh. And when your blood sugar is low, you are supposed to, get your like 15 grams of carbs and wait 15 minutes. And we don't always have time for that. We don't
Right.
have time to wait 15 minutes, so that's a huge struggle. You don't have time to wait sometimes when your blood sugar is low. Um, Actually, so right now on The Amazing Race, I don't know if you've ever watched that or not, but on The Amazing Race, there is a guy on there that's a type 1 diabetic, and he talks about it a lot. It's really cool, actually. I haven't seen that happen on it before. So it's really neat. And I mean, it's interesting because he'll be in the middle of a challenge, or they'll be running a lot during the day, and you see him running and he's drinking his juice, his little juice box,
Right.
and he'll have to stop an activity and because his blood sugar is just low, or, or he's out in the sun. Okay. This is another thing that happens is just a normal day. Let's say it's in the middle of the summer, you're outside, you're doing this and that with your kids, hanging out. Well, yeah, everybody gets hot, but when I get hot, or usually type 1 diabetics, when they get hot, your blood sugar spikes for some reason.
Hmm,
So,
interesting.
yeah, it is. It's very weird. So, then you're feeling, like crap because you're 320 for no reason. You didn't eat anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong.
You're just
It's
chilling.
just, yep, out in the heat, and, my blood sugar will spike. And when your blood sugar spikes, the only way I can explain it is, like for me, you feel just exhausted, like you don't want to do anything, you're grouchy. But the only way I explain it is like blood flows through your veins like water. Okay. But when my blood sugar is high, it literally feels like blood is going through my veins like molasses.
Wow.
And it's hard to explain, but it's just a very strange feeling.
Yeah. Just
So yeah,
tired, weak,
yeah. And it
gross.
prevents you from doing a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
you can't just, pick up and be like, oh, I need to go do this, need to go do that. No, you have to stop. You have to test it. You have to take your insulin. Then you have to, kind of wait it out. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So, because your blood sugar goes higher much, much quicker than it goes lower. It seems like it takes forever when it's high to get it back down. It takes a couple hours. Um, but if it's low and you have something, it takes, 10 minutes,
Yeah.
you know?
Would you say that that is probably one of the most challenging part is like having to wait it out and, see what's going on and almost like you have to plan for your diabetes.
Yes, absolutely. And that is the most difficult thing because we can't always plan that in life. Nothing, you can do the best you can, but you can't always plan for things that are going to happen. You just can't.
Right.
So that's definitely one of the most difficult things. Then also, making sure that I always have my stuff with me. I've left the house before and had to turn around because I'm like, oh, my pump's beeping. I forgot. I need to change it tonight. I better go back and get that and
Yeah.
so there's so many different things that come into play that, most people don't have to worry about.
Right. They can just grab their keys, leave, and, don't
Yep.
have to think about all these second things that they have to
Yep.
do.
It's like, oh, do I have a juice box in my car? Do I have a juice box in my purse? Do I have a
Yeah.
juice box in my work bag?
It
Am I
almost
gonna
reminds me whenever we went to the Taylor Swift concert and you were,
Yes.
your sugar dropped and you were like, oh my gosh, I don't have a juice box with me.
Yes. It's so stupid. See? Yeah, and we had to go to the freaking fire department.
Oh,
Like, hey,
memories.
friends.
Okay, so your tools, you said you have a Dexcom,
Hmm.
have an insulin pump.
Yes, I wear an Omnipod. So it's a little bit different than the other insulin pumps that have like the tubes or the tubing on it. So my Omnipod does not have tubing. It just goes like straight in. Um, yeah. So I mean, it works the same as a regular pump, but it doesn't have that extra like tubing on it. So,
Moving more towards like the healthcare side of things, do you
mhm,
feel supported by your healthcare team? Do you have a good
absolutely.
team together? Okay, good.
Yeah, my doctors, they're so amazing. Honestly, they definitely keep me in check. They care. Um, they obviously want me to do better, but I'm like, hey, you live with it. Okay, it's hard. But yeah, they're very supportive, very caring, and just genuinely want me to, keep all my fingers and toes and do good. So
Yeah.
far, so good.
Well, good. I'm glad. Have you faced any challenges accessing medications, devices, like with insurance cost, availability? I know that's a big factor with
Oh,
our
yes,
healthcare system.
absolutely. So for a while after Matt died, so my first husband, um, I was immediately, obviously, his insurance quit. Dark, like, we were off his
Yeah,
insurance right away.
right.
Um, So I had to pay out of pocket for everything at that time. And my doctor just gave me supplies nonstop, just gave me supplies, gave me supplies, gave me supplies. So I luckily didn't have to do a ton of out of pocket at that time because he was super helpful because of the situation I was in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a process. Um, I am now covered on two different insurances. So I have, Kyle's, my husband now, have his insurance, but then also at my job, I was able to get insurance through them. So now I'm like double covered. And
Awesome.
I was probably before I had both insurances, I was with just Kyle's insurance, we were probably paying between $300 and $400 for my supplies about every month.
Wow.
Yeah. And now I'm usually it's about $60. Way
Okay,
different.
that
Yeah.
makes a lot difference, but
Yeah.
also you're paying, whatever you have to pay to have your insurance, your,
Yeah.
what is that called? Your premium or whatever.
Yep, exactly, exactly.
Wow.
And that's like I said, that's $60 for my 3 month supply of pumps, but then $60 the next month for my 3 month supply of sensors, and then the next three,
Oh,
and then the next month is a 3 month supply. So it's like every month, even though they last for 3 months, it's still the way it hits is about
one
every
on top
month.
of another, and then
Yes.
that is
Um,
crazy.
and you do have to go, jump through hoops and have all the letters and the this and the that
And the
for
prior
insurance.
authorizations and
Yep. To approve the pump and to approve the Dexcom and
yeah,
yeah. So it's definitely a process.
we have got to do better.
Oh, girl.
Okay, well, if there was one advice that you could give to newly diagnosed patients, what would it be?
Oh man.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, that's fine. That they can do this. It is doable. It's not fun and it sucks. Let's just be honest. Like it sucks. It sucks. It sucks. And there's days that I'm like, I don't want to do. It's funny because I joke with my kids all the time. I'm like, Nolan, take my diabetes for 1 week. And he's like, nope, won't do it. Just, it's just, I mean, it is, I, it is doable. It is manageable, but it is not like no one's going to be perfect because as much as you can control it, you can't control it. It does its own thing sometimes. Like I said, you don't do anything wrong. I can't control the weather. And if I'm outside and if it's hot, I can't control that. Um, so just do the best that you can and don't beat yourself up when it's not perfect because it's not
Yeah.
going to be.
You're gonna go through hoops. You're gonna
Yep.
manage it. It's gonna be okay.
Yep. We'll get through it.
It
And,
doesn't make
and I
it
always
any
tell people
easier.
like, yep, like when I see kids that have it, younger kids or teenagers or whatever, I'm like, hey, I was 12 years old. I'm 41 now and I'm still here. I'm still okay. I don't have any other complications from it. You can do it. You can do it. It sucks and it's not fun, but we can do this.
Yeah, that's
So,
great. I'm so glad that you were able to find a flow that works with you and
yeah,
figuring out that routine. I'm sure, I mean, it could take a while to really figure out your body and figure
it
out what
does.
works for you and what doesn't. And,
It
this
does.
triggers it more, but,
Yep,
once you get that flow going, you're very
absolutely.
helpful.
And it's just become part of life, it just becomes part of life. Like I know, I mean, I very rarely do I forget anything at home, but it's like instead of grabbing my phone, I always I I laugh and I think it's Kevin Gates, I don't even know, that has the song called Two Phones. Yeah, that's me.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like so stupid.
You got your
I'm like,
two
I got
phones.
two phones. Yeah, Kyle's always like, you're so cool. You are so cool.
That is funny.
So yeah, I just know because my Omnipod is, it looks like a phone. My
Right.
PDM or whatever it's called, personal diabetes manager is what I control it on. So my PDM. So it looks like a phone. So I'm like, yep, got to get both my phones. So it just becomes habit and it just becomes normal, but it is hard. I mean, it's an extra annoyance.
Yeah.
So,
All right, one last final
yeah.
question. Is there
Yeah.
anything about your story that you wish more people knew? And what gives you hope or motivation about that?
Um okay, so A, always have your urine checked. um B, let's think. It's not you can't nobody can catch diabetes. I think people don't understand that as much. Also, type 1 diabetes is not something that I caused or um that was brought on by my diet or lack of exercise or things like that. It
Yes.
had nothing to do with that. It's an autoimmune disease versus type 2 diabetes, which is a metabolic disorder, right? So it doesn't matter how much I exercise or how good I eat. I will never, ever get rid of my diabetes. It will always be there. Type 1 diabetics are usually fit, are usually thinner. You think of, I can't tell you how many times or somebody has said to me, oh my gosh, well, you don't look diabetic. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. That's because it's not your great grandma's diabetes. It's different.
Right.
So I just wish that there was more awareness on the difference
Yeah.
of of the types of diabetes and how it's handled and what it is. And I will say in the last probably 5 years or more, it's definitely gotten better. But yeah, I used to be kind of embarrassed to have like my Dexcom on my arm or my pod on my arm where people can see it. I usually would hide it like around my waist, with like under my jeans or something. Um, but I'm not embarrassed of it anymore. I'm not, because I don't, yeah, I'm like, this is not something that I did or I caused. It's just what it is.
Yeah, it's part of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it or not. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that at least, for example, like in just for an example, like my
Hmm.
grandparents,
Yeah.
um, they think of diabetes and they, like you said, they think of somebody who doesn't exercise, has a poor
Yeah.
diet,
Yeah.
obese, like
Exactly.
there's so much misconception on type 1 and type 2 and that
Yeah.
they aren't the same thing, So I
Yep.
totally I see you. We see you, we hear you,
Yeah.
and
And it's not
obviously,
anybody's fault. They just don't know because that's what we've all been taught,
yeah,
just,
absolutely.
yeah, it's not like anybody's doing it in a negative or mean way. It's just, that's just, yeah, it's just what people think of it, so pretty crazy.
Well, thank you so much for helping me with this project. I truly appreciate, you and your story. And as future healthcare professionals,
Yeah.
we do see you. We see your concerns, and I will take this story with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
And we have
I
our little
appreciate.
story too for the Taylor concert. At least you
Right,
got to
right.
experience it with me.
All right. Well,
Oh
thank you. I'm going to
goodness.
stop recording here.
Okay.
To move on to the debrief section, after interviewing my patient Stacy, I was able to connect her experience with type 1 diabetes to the broader physiology and pharmacology themes that we've learned throughout the semester in MPP. Even though we haven't formally talked about diabetes yet, her story clearly reflected what happens when a major regulatory system in our body isn't functioning the way it should be and how much work it takes to maintain balance and homeostasis on a daily basis, specifically for type 1 diabetes. Hearing how she manages her insulin, monitors her levels, and adjusts things based on her meals or activity really helped me understand how complex real life medication management can be and why patient education and support are so essential to us healthcare providers and the patients as well. What stood out most to me was gaining the patient perspective, not just from the medical test, but also from the mental and emotional effort in managing a chronic condition. This conversation reinforced how important communication, empathy, and clear guidelines from healthcare providers really are. Overall, the interview helped me connect our course concepts to the lived experience on real patients, like Stacy, living with type 1 diabetes. Thank you.